Your Excellencies and Heads of State and Government, Chairperson of the AU Commission, Ministers, Secretary General of the African Continental Free Trade Area, Commissioners, esteemed participants, I wish to welcome you all to this virtual extraordinary summit. And it is in this regard that I now call this the 13th extraordinary session of the Assembly of Heads of State and Government on the African Continental Free Trade Area to order. We are together, much as we are virtually attending this summit, and I really truly welcome you. I now want to ask that we check whether we do have a quorum from the Acting Secretary General.
Excellency, good afternoon. I confirm we do have a quorum.
Wonderful. I now, as we commence, hand over to the AUC Chief of Protocol to direct the order of proceedings of the opening ceremony. I will afterwards.
Je vous remercie, Monsieur le Président.
Thank you, Mr. President. Excellencies, Heads of State and Government, Excellency Musa Faki Mohammed, Chairperson of the African Union Commission, Honorable Ministers, Deputy Chairperson of the African Union, Commissioners, the Chief Executive of the Union, President of the African Development Bank, President of the African Bank, invited guests. We are meeting for this extraordinary session of the Assembly of the African Union devoted to the African Continental Free Trade Area. For the opening ceremony, we shall listen successively to the current chairman of the African Union, President Cyril Ramaphosa, followed by Excellency Musa Faki Mohammed, the chairperson of the African Union Commission, and then Mr. Ramkele, the Secretary General of the African Continental Free Trade Area. I want to request my colleagues of the technical team to play the African Union anthem. I thank you.
Sim, não seja uma própria imagem na intervenção.
Thank you. We will now proceed with the opening statements and remarks. Your Majesties, Your Excellencies, Heads of States and Government, Your Excellency Musa Faki Mahamat, Chairperson of the AU Commission, Your Excellencies, Members of the Executive Council, Wamkele Mene, the Secretary General of the AfCFTA Secretariat, heads of AU organs, heads of regional economic communities, Deputy Chairperson, and Commissioners of the African Union Commission, ladies and gentlemen. Allow me to welcome you all to this, the 13th extraordinary session of the Assembly of the Heads of State and Government of the Union, African Union. But let me start off on a very happy, welcoming note by welcoming the newly elected presidents to be welcomed and acknowledged by all of us. President Evariste Ndayishimiye of Burundi, President Ba Ndao of Mali, President Lazarus Chakwera of Malawi, President Wavel Ramkalawan of the Seychelles. We welcome you to this extraordinary session. Today we stand on the cusp of a new era in the progress of our beautiful continent. The moment that we've all been working painstakingly towards has finally arrived. With just 4 weeks to go before the AfCFTA commences trading on the 1st of January 2021, we are here to consider the adoption of the legal instruments that will facilitate its operationalization. We are all filled with a great sense of pride at how far we have come to reach this moment. We recall the collective journey we embarked upon just over 4 decades ago with the adoption of the Monrovia Strategy in 1979, followed by the Lagos Plan of Action in 1980 and the Abuja Treaty in 1991. We recall with a sense of achievement the subsequent decisions and declarations adopted at our previous summits relating to the economic development and integration of the African continent. And now, we are about to witness the realization of one of the flagship projects of Agenda 2063. Throughout this process, we have stood united with 55 sovereign AU member states rallying together despite different levels of economic development and diverse strategic priorities. The commencement of trading under the AfCFTA on the 1st of January 2021 is one of the most significant milestones in the continental integration project. It will be the clearest affirmation yet that Africa is determined to take charge of its own destiny and that its success and development is fundamentally tied to harnessing the potential and energies of her citizens. We already witnessed history in the making when the first ever Secretary General of the AfCFTA Secretariat was installed on the 19th of September 2020 in Accra, in Ghana. We commend His Excellency President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo and the people of Ghana for their part in fulfilling the African dream. We also congratulate Mr. Wamkele Mene, the Secretary General of the AfCFTA Secretariat, and wish him success for the work that lies ahead. Our treaty will boost intra-African trade. It will promote industrialization and competitiveness and contribute to job creation, and it will unleash regional value chains that will facilitate Africa's meaningful integration into the global economy. The treaty will also improve the prospects of Africa as an attractive investment destination. In the context of global developments on trade, including threats to multilateral system, the treaty is more critical than ever. We must use this, our treaty, to advance the empowerment of Africa's women, one of the most important objectives of Agenda 2063. Improving African women's access to trade opportunities not only facilitates economic freedom for women, but also expands the productive capacity of countries. The AfCFTA must facilitate greater trade opportunities for women and focus on removing non-tariff barriers to trade. To support this, we must strengthen women's participation in the continental economy by ensuring there is greater public procurement that is earmarked for women-owned businesses. We must ensure that there is sufficient support given to women-owned small-medium enterprises and cooperatives in both local and regional economies. Your Excellencies, most importantly, we should consider an AU protocol on women in trade to give effect to our intentions. This, our treaty, presents immense opportunities for the private sector in Africa and will be a catalyst for the development and expansion of private enterprise on our continent. We call on the private sector to be our partners in this journey and provide support to this continental effort through the development of human and financial resources and investment in areas such as infrastructure and technology. Before I conclude, let me acknowledge and appreciate the critical role played by the heads of state and government and for their continued support towards the realization of this flagship project. We express our appreciation to His Excellency President Issoufou Mahamadou, the President of the Republic of Niger, and the champion of the AfCFTA for his excellent work and the dedicated leadership that he has demonstrated throughout the negotiation process of the treaty since March 2016 to date. We further extend our gratitude to the chairperson of the AU Commission, His Excellency Moussa Faki Mahamat, all the commissioners as well, and the staff of the AU Commission for their tireless effort and dedication, as well as the technical support from partners such as the UN Economic Commission for Africa. The treaty is the great edifice that holds our collective dreams and aspirations for an integrated and prosperous continent. It has been us, the nations of Africa, who labored and toiled to lay the weighty cornerstone, who dug the foundations and erected the scaffolding. And it has been you, Your Excellencies, who have been the engineers who have kept a watchful eye to ensure that as the building grows upwards and sideways, that it remains firm. There is no doubt that the AfCFTA will endure because it is built upon the strongest of foundations, the unity of all our African nations. May it continue to be strengthened. May it also weather the elements, and may it forever hold. I now declare this 13th extraordinary session of the Assembly of the Heads of State and Government of the African Union on the African Continental Free Trade Area officially open. And in this regard, I thank you. And that is how we then proceed to ask the next speaker to then make their opening statement. Thank you very much. Does she call him?
Merci, Monsieur le Président. Je voudrais rappeler
Thank you, President. I just want to recall that the next speaker is Excellency Mr. Musa Faki Mahamat, the chairperson of the Afghan Union Commission, whom I respectfully invite to take the floor and make his statement. Excellency Cyril Ramaphosa, President of South Africa, current chairman of the African Union. Excellency Mamadou Issoufou, President of the Republic of Niger, the champion of the African Continental Free Trade Area, Excellencies, heads of state and government, members of the Commission of the African Union, the Secretary General of the African Continental Free Trade Area, President of the African Development Bank, President of the Afrexim Bank, the Chief Executives of the Regional Economic Communities, heads of organs of the African Union, dear partners, ladies and gentlemen. It is for me a great joy to participate in this extraordinary session of the Assembly devoted to considering the preparations for the actual launching and operationalization as from 1st January 2021, the trading in one of the flagship projects that is the African Continental Free Trade Area. I would like to express our gratitude to the government of South Africa, which had taken all the necessary measures and make the necessary arrangements for this extraordinary session of the Assembly. But unfortunately, COVID-19 decided otherwise. And as obviously we are now dealing virtually with the issues that are on the table, I want to pay reverent tribute to President Mamadou Issoufou, President of the Republic of Niger, the champion of the AfCFTA, who has devoted himself, which has led to the important execution of this important project. With the energy and passion that marks his person, and with the various recommendations, we want to reaffirm that on 1st January 2021, we shall be ready to initiate the preferential trading at the level of the continent. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, we are now fulfilling an old dream of the founding fathers, that is the establishment of the African Common Market. Since 1963 to date, it has been a long way, despite all the constraints that we have faced and the natural disasters like COVID-19, which Africa had to face. But the gestation has taken place. and are the one that we feel that is when you have the birth of a child long expected. In fact, to give life to this project, with the signing in 1991 of the treaty establishing the African Economic Community, however, the impetus that was given in Kigali, Rwanda, at the extraordinary session of the Assembly, which opened the way for the signing and the establishment of the African Continental Free Trade Area. 44 member states have signed the said agreement, and today we are with 34 ratifications, which is a record in the annals of the African Union, and this has enabled us to take another step towards the continental integration. With the market opening on the first, we have a new experience of economic integration of all the member states of our union. The success of this process obviously is a guarantee for successes. Of course, the road is strewn with so many obstacles and challenges. The exercise that we have to carry out is the strategic importance and resilience, all concerned. That is at the national level and regional and continental levels. We are all called upon to play his or her role in harmony in order to ensure the success of the African Continental Free Trade Area. At this juncture, I want to stress once again the opportunities that are availability is afforded by this AfCFTA, and obviously for Africans to conquer and prevail on the continent. The AfCFTA is a response to their concerns and also in line with the spirit of innovation and creativity within the framework of their dream. However, there is a reality that we should always bear in mind. That is, the success of the AfCFTA depends on an environment and our unity that is sometimes that we have to do better. That is the very sense of this flagship project of the African Union, and also the other flagship project, which is silencing the guns, something that we are going to discuss tomorrow. In the meantime, I want to point out that the AfCFTA, in fact, and the Secretariat will have reciprocal relations, and obviously it is the sine qua non condition for the existence of the other, that is, of the two flagship projects. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, I am happy that the Secretariat of the AfCFTA is operational in Accra, Ghana, since August 2020. Thanks to the facilities that His Excellency President Nana Akufo-Addo has granted us and to whom I would like to express our grateful thanks. This Secretariat is ready to facilitate African trading. The work that has been done on the rules of origin, the tariff concessions, and the specific commitments as regards commerce and trade in services will be contained in the report that will be submitted for your consideration during this session. To conclude, I have the pleasure to state that a historical declaration will be adopted during this session, which is called the Johannesburg Declaration on the launching of trading. And we want to obviously express our gratitude to this beautiful city, Johannesburg, which would have hosted this session. I also want to pay tribute to President Cyril Ramaphosa. Despite the constraints of COVID-19, throughout the year has been sparing no effort in order to consider the various important issues of our union. I thank you for your kind attention.
Monsieur le Président.
Thank you, Chairperson of the Commission. I now want to call on Wembley Mene, the Secretary General of the AfCFTA, to make his statement.
Thank you very much, Madam Program Director, His Excellency President Ramaphosa, the Chairperson of the Assembly, His Excellency President Mahamadou Issoufou, the leader and champion of the AfCFTA, Your Excellencies, Heads of States and Government, His Excellency Mr. Moussa Faki Mohamed, the Chairperson of the African Union Commission, Honorable Ministers, Excellencies, Commissioners of the African Union, Excellencies, Ambassadors and representatives to the African Union. It is an honor for me to be able to make this statement to this august assembly from Accra, Ghana, the philosophical and intellectual foundation of Pan-Africanism. In August 2020, the government of Ghana officially handed over the AfCFTA Secretariat building to His Excellency Moussa Faki Mohamed. In my personal interactions with His Excellency President Akufo-Addo, it is clear that his commitment to the AfCFTA is anchored on a deep sense of duty to advancing the imperatives of Pan-Africanism. I deeply appreciate the support of the government of Ghana, the people of Ghana, in particular, His Excellency President Akufo-Addo, Minister of Foreign Affairs, Minister Botchway, Minister of Trade, Minister Allen Cherry-Martin, and indeed the entire government of the Republic of Ghana. His Excellency Moussa Faki Mohamed and his Chief of Staff, my dear senior brother Abdoulaye Diop, have been a source of much strength for me and continue to support the Secretariat from Addis Ababa. Your Excellencies, Africa is on the cusp of a historic milestone, which started when the AfCFTA was signed in Kigali, Rwanda, in March 2018. As of today, 54 countries have signed the agreement. 34 countries have deposited their instruments of ratification, with the Federal Republic of Nigeria depositing their instrument of ratification this morning. Today, 41 countries and customs unions have submitted their tariff offers, including the East African Community and ECOWAS, who submitted their offers in the last few days. We congratulate all of them. This effort positions the AfCFTA for a truly commercially meaningful start of trading on the 1st of January 2021. None of this remarkable progress would have been achieved without the unwavering leadership and commitment of His Excellency President Mahamadou Issoufou, the champion and leader of the AfCFTA. I also want to salute the Ministers of Trade, the senior trade officials, the chief negotiators, and our experts, our dedicated experts, for the hard work done over the last few months in very, very difficult circumstances. Africa has an over-reliance on the export of primary commodities to traditional markets of the North. In other words, Africa continues to be trapped in a colonial economic model. This requires that we aggressively implement the AfCFTA as one of the tools for effecting a fundamental structural transformation of Africa's economy and placing Africa on a path of long-term industrial development. Your Excellencies, now is the time. Now is the time to take action to dismantle this colonial economic model by accelerating our industrial development objectives. women in trade, young Africans, small medium enterprises confront significant challenges when attempting to benefit from trade agreements. In this regard, we shall take up the challenge that His Excellency President Ramaphosa has just presented to us. We shall negotiate a protocol to advance the objectives of women in trade. For the AfCFTA to be inclusive and to ensure shared growth across the continent, women, young Africans, small medium enterprises have to be at the heart of its implementation. In this regard, we shall partner with UNECA, the UNDP, to ensure that the AfCFTA continues to contribute to the achievement of Sustainable Development Goals, Agenda 2030. We have partnered with the Afro Champions to deploy digitally enabled platforms to connect small medium enterprises, women in trade, and young entrepreneurs to new markets on the African continent. In revitalizing Africa's economy, particularly the services sector, AfRIVA, the Africa CDC Trusted Travel Initiative, is absolutely critical. Your Excellencies, AfrEximBank has been a strong strategic partner to the AfCFTA. We are working together on the development of a Pan-African payments and settlement platform, which the Assembly launched last year in Niamey. We're also developing an adjustment facility to help countries that need this adjustment facility as they implement the AfCFTA. And both of these instruments will be critical in supporting the implementation of the AfCFTA. We intend to expand our partnerships with the private sector. We have had very fruitful discussions with Zenith Bank about a trade portal and Standard Bank about the possibility of the establishment of a $1 billion trade finance facility, which will be aimed at primarily small, medium enterprises. We will have to explore the possibility of trade finance, and this trade finance facility being jointly underwritten by governments, African banks, and African multilateral institutions. Let me conclude, Your Excellencies, by observing, as much progress as we have made, integrating 55 markets will not be easy. It will be difficult. It will be a daunting task. It will take resolute determination decade after decade. However, to throw our hands in the air and say the task is too difficult is not an option. A recent study by the World Bank estimates that where implemented effectively, by the year 2035, the AfCFTA has the potential to lift 30 million Africans out of extreme poverty and 70 million Africans out of moderate poverty. As positive as these projections are, they shall not happen by chance. We as Africans will have to take our destiny into our own hands. We will have to take concrete actions to make sure that these positive projections do become a reality. I thank you very much, Your Excellency, the President.
Merci, Monsieur le Secrétaire Général, Son Excellence, Monsieur le Secrétaire Général.
Thank you, His Excellency, the Secretary General. We've now come to the end of the opening ceremony, and so I want to give the floor back to His Excellency, Mr. Cyril Ramaphosa, the chairperson of this session, for him to take us through the next stage. Thank you.
Thank you. We're now in our closed session.